Welcome to Two Giant Goofballs, a New York Giants podcast. Are you a goofball that loves Giant football? If so, sit back and relax. Except you, that person driving. Sit up and keep your eyes on the road. Your ears, though, can still listen as we talk about the team that both excites and frustrates us so much. And now, here are your goofball hosts, Drew and Rob.
Fellow goofballs, the Two Giant Goofballs, a New York Giants podcast. I am Drew, joined as always by...
I'm Rob. Drew, are you ready to answer some questions we got?
Oh, we got some questions overall in the Saquon Barkley saga. This is like becoming a soap opera that is quickly coming to its season finale.
As Barkley turns.
And I kind of feel bad for the guy to a certain degree because, it's the position he plays. The position he plays. Nobody wants to pay a running back, and he is one of the top players at his position in the entire NFL. So
he's about 4 to 6 years too young.
If this guy
got a fat paycheck.
If this guy was a quarterback, he'd be making $50 million a year. If he was a receiver, he'd be making $25 million. If he was a linebacker, even he'd be making $20 million. And yet we're talking about a $10 million tag for him. It's the way the NFL runs now.
You can't pay everyone $20+ million a year.
No, you can't.
You have no cap.
And if you find somebody who can pay someone everybody $20 million a year, please let me know if they're hiring, because I would love that kind of job.
Yeah. Sign me up.
Oh, yes. So the big reason I wanted to go over this topic here for you guys today is we did have a statement there on recent events from Jeremy Fowler on SportsCenter not too long ago. We also had some new workout pictures and videos being shown around. But the big thing is it's now July. Oh, yes. Independence Day is over. And now the deadline is
we defeated the aliens.
We did. We defeated the aliens thanks to the help of Will Smith.
The White House is actually in one piece, not billions.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
This is back when Randy Quaid was allowed to be in the U.S. I think he's still not allowed. Isn't he banned from the U.S. because you get arrested for tax evasion or something?
I would have to look at that. I'm not sure.
That's the drunk guy in the movie, for those who aren't aware. He's got a very interesting life.
Yes!
And he is also the brother of Dennis Quaid, and of course the uncle of the kid in
The Boys.
The Boys,
Jack Quaid.
Yeah, Jack Quaid. Yeah, exactly. So yeah, all the Quaid family, they're all actors. But anyway, so we get sidetracked talking about the Quaid family tree here.
Hey, listen, they're all talented.
All talented, especially Randy Quaid. The shitter's full. He made Christmas Vacation. Anyway, now that we're in July, it's time to talk about the deadline, because the deadline is fast approaching. So the 17th, less than 2 weeks away, is the deadline.
11.
Yeah. And either one of two things is going to, actually one of three things I should say is going to happen. He's either going to sign the deal and play in the 1-year franchise tag. He's going to sign a long-term deal and be, 2-3 year deal, whatever the case may be, they work out. Or option 3, he's going to sit out to the very last minute, sign the deal right before week 1. But we're going to find out. The big thing I think people need to remember, though, is the season this man had. As much as we've talked about before, he's a running back. You don't want to pay the long term. There's the risk of injury. There's all these risks with running backs. In the end, the guy had 1,650 yards from scrimmage last season. 1,650. That is the 9th highest total in New York Giants history. The only people that have been better on a one season basis there as far as scrimmage yards. Tiki Barber beat that number 6 times in his career. Let's just remember how good Tiki was.
Yeah, but who was the number 1 running back?
Yeah. Joe Morris did it 1 time. And the other guy who did it was Saquon himself. Campaign. Yeah, exactly. So, yeah, I mean, that's a pretty high number there. I know the end of his season obviously wasn't nearly as good as the first half was, but he was battling a shoulder injury. He was battling the fact that he was just plumb tired. Let's just be honest.
I mean, he started showing face again, like towards the end, when it looked like his shoulder was kind of healing up a little bit, because it was when he hurt it, like the week before the Seattle game, or was it the Seattle game, week 9?
I want to say it was right around the time of that Houston game. I don't.
Oh, you're right. It was Houston game. It was Houston game. He got pulled out, and that was also right around the time when
was the game I think he had the most carries all year long too, as well.
31, 32.
He's overused him instead of putting his backups in when the game was clearly over. But I want to harp on that mistake. But every coach makes mistakes.
I mean, I also don't want to say the game was clearly over because
it's the Texans. It was over at the opening whistle. And folks, it's kickoff time, and the Texans lost.
Might as well go home now and beat the traffic.
That's basically what happens. Unless you're a Giant fan, enjoy the win. But yeah, I mean, that's just what it is. But we've talked about before, he hinted at the whole Le'Veon Bell situation when he had his kids' football camp there. Obviously, for those who don't remember, I'm sure most of you do, but just in case if you don't, Le'Veon Bell wanted a big contract, was tired of getting tagged, went ahead and sat out an entire season because he didn't think the Steelers were offering him enough money. And he was never the same after that. Got his big deal eventually from the Jets, but his career was just never the same after having that 1 year off. And I don't know if it was just he didn't take care of himself as well, or if the Steelers knew something and that's why they didn't want to pay him because they knew he was about to hit that cliff. But yeah, he just went way down. So we talked about this before. I don't worry about that scenario. I don't think Saquon would ever do that. I think he knows what a huge mistake that would be overall to sit out an entire season. So to me, that's not even one of the options.
Yeah, I mean, he's a smart young guy. Like, it's not even like he knows the repercussions of how it's going to look, but it's also, I think it's more of an ego thing too. Like he likes his persona and how crisp it looks in the New York frame of mind, if you want to say it that way, because
you going to a Billy
New York area? I did a little bit, but who else is like?
Sing me a song. You're the piano man.
You're the running back man. Go get me 5 more yards.
But don't expect more than the franchise tag.
Then it'll be definitely going up to the microphone and smell like a beer.
but
I'm saying like his ego, like itself, and I think it's his self-image.
I don't think
will not let him.
I don't think.
I shouldn't say ego. I say ego because it's not cocky. It's an ego thing because it's also his look, his persona. It's his
It's a pride.
Which is also an ego thing. Which is it's an ego. It's not cocky.
I hear ego. I think ego is like this cocky guy who thinks he's the best.
There's a difference. There's different.
But that's what I'm saying. That's what I hear when I hear ego. Or I see Kurt Russell in Guardians of the Galaxy 2. It's the only 2 versions of ego.
As a planet or actual Kurt Russell?
Same thing. Yeah. Kurt Russell is a planet. I just don't think. I think he's smart enough to realize it's a really bad move for his career. The other rumor floating around is that he may just skip training camp, and that one I actually find more plausible. Here's actually kind of the scary thing. As a Giant fan, I don't even mind it. Skip the training camp, skip the preseason. You've been playing now for 5 years. You know what you need to do. This is not your first year in the offense. It's your second year in the offense. Stay fresh, stay healthy, go into week 1 and just kill it.
Yep, I was about to say, you're going to be way more fresh. Maybe you don't get hurt by week 9 or whatever it was. Maybe you go to week 12 and then you come back for the playoffs. Thanks.
Week 9 is the new week 1. I mean, it's there, and you got to look at that as an option too, as well. That him taking time off like that might be good for his body. We talk about it all the time that only a certain amount of miles allowed on the legs of a running back here, and
I mean, he does his best to keep his body in shape, and he does a great job, not just being strong, but strong like bull. But he's also he makes sure he takes into consideration a lot of the flexibility into his workouts, a lot of different dynamic workouts besides heavy squats and the shed pulls and lifts that he does. Well, not lifts, but shed pushes and pulls that he does. I mean, we were talking about it before.
Workout machine.
Just go, like, anyone that doesn't follow him on Instagram, just go look at him. Like, he was doing some crazy squats with resistant bands, keeping the flexibility and strength in his knees as he was squatting.
Yeah, they had a video of him last week. They had a video just last week. He was squatting 585 pounds.
Yeah, and correct me if I'm wrong with you, what, 220?
Huh?
What's his weight, 220?
You're gonna make me look that up now. I don't know that off the top of my head.
He's like in the 220 ballpark.
I know my own weight off the top of my head. Just sad. I don't want to know.
I'm pretty sure he's about my weight. Only he's got so he's like 10 pounds heavier than me with a 6-pack. That's fantastic.
Yeah. He's 30 pounds less than me at least.
And what, 5'9", 5'10"? Yeah.
He's 6 foot. He's 6
Is he 6 foot?
He's a bigger guy than you realize. Because
I think he put socks in his cleats. I don't think he's 6 foot.
I don't know where people put socks nowadays. I'm not getting involved in that conversation. But yeah, I mean, you saw the video like we talked about, the 585 pounds, him squatting that. You see now videos of him, working out last week with Daniel Jones. And they were even doing a bunch of signings with some kids that were practicing nearby. I think it was baseball too. It wasn't even football. It was like, whatever.
I think it was baseball, yeah.
And then this week now they're showing him and Deebo Samuel working out together. So I'll tell you this: whoever Saquon's PR person is, kudos to you. Kudos.
Yeah, perfect. Because you got Deebo, who's like, I think he was on the sled with like 180 pounds, and you got Barkley pushing twice as much.
In all fairness, though, he should be. He's a running back, not a wide receiver. You're supposed to be stronger as a running back than a wide receiver.
You are, but I mean, fair to say, because I'm pretty sure Barkley would have had like at least twice, maybe 2.5 times the weight, and he just outran. He outran him. Just not even just strength, just endurance-wise too. Just Deebo gave up after like 20 yards, just pushing his body weight, and Barkley did like almost double his body weight.
That's like saying, can you believe that Graham Gano and Daniel Jones were working out, and Daniel Jones couldn't kick the ball as far?
It's not fair.
It's a different skill.
All right, you both have to run. You both have to run fast, and how you run fast, your knee stability and sled pushes is one of the best things you can do. So it's not a fair statement to say a punter and a thrower.
As a wide receiver, I know he does run the ball occasionally. It's kind of a mixed.
It's a different scenario.
There, it's different.
You can compare it to the field goal kicker that can't kick it as far as a punter.
No, we're not going to talk about punters. You know what's going to happen then. Rampage of comments here.
How come the field goal kicker can't kick it 70 yards? I don't get it.
I can do it.
Yeah.
Damn that Scottish hammer.
Saying that's a little more fair of a scenario.
I think the big thing we got to really keep an eye on is what happens with Josh Jacobs and Tony Pollard. I think that's the big thing. I think you got 3 guys here that, let's be honest, one of them you would think is going to sign a deal.
Did they tag Pollard?
They're all 3 tagged. All 3 are tagged. So you have to think that one of those 3 are going to sign a deal. And then when that happens, it's going to start a domino effect because now you have a basis to build off of. Especially if it's Josh Jacobs or Saquon, because they have a little more of a resume than Tony Pollard does. Tony Pollard had last year really good, but before that, it wasn't like you talked about Tony Pollard as being like one of the best, running backs in the league. Whereas,
but he's also behind Zeke when Zeke didn't fall off the wagon. But I do believe that.
I'm not blaming
I don't
want to make it seem that way. I don't hate Tony Pollard. I hate the team he played for, but I don't hate him personally. But
actually,
he had 1,000 yards last year, but he had 700 the year before, and the 2 prior years he had 400 and change. So it's not like this is a guy who's had,
And you know what? Years. And I wouldn't be surprised if he's the first one that actually comes to an agreement. Because Jerry Jones is Jerry Jones.
Now, Josh Jacobs, though, been in the league 4 years now. 3 of those 4 years, he's eclipsed 1,000 yards. Obviously, last year being his best at 1,600.
I was about to say he had a monster year last year.
But I'm saying that's a resume. When you can sit there and say, I played in this league for 4 years, and 3 out of those 4 I hit 1,000 yards. Especially
meanwhile, the first 3 years, Pollard did what Jacobs did his last year.
Exactly. So, you got that, and then obviously Saquon. Saquon is Saquon. So, it's 3 years now. I think he's got 1,000 yards rushing in 5 seasons. So that's pretty damn good too. So, you're still talking 3 guys, 2 of them with a huge, just a huge resume there.
Yeah.
One of them's going to sign. What they do? That's the blueprint for the other 2 to get signed.
Yeah, and Pollard doesn't have the same excuse as Barkley, because Barkley was injured for 2 of those 5 years where he didn't play right.
I have to wonder, though. I think Pollard's not the guy because he's coming off a major injury that he suffered there in the playoffs. And I think the Cowboys are going to be happy with just tagging him and seeing if he's healthy and then figuring out next season. I think Josh Jacobs is the one that, Giant fans, we got to be watching, because he's the guy that if he signs, whatever his deal is, just mirror it over to Saquon. And they have similar career numbers. They're going to be very similarly paid.
Shame for me for not looking it up. Maybe you can do it live now since we're here. But what's a cap for the Raiders right now in Vegas?
Let's take a
look. That's something we need to think about.
Because
I know they had a lot of problems, but they also cut a lot of people and clear a lot of stuff up. But I don't know. I don't know if they kicked the can down the line a little bit.
I don't know as far as down the line if they have or not, but I can tell you right now, I'm looking here. They have, they got a lot. They got a ton of cap space, dude.
So that could actually hurt the Giants thing, because if they turn around hey, here's 15 mil.
Oh, I take it back actually. Hold on, this is a bad one. I'm at a website that's way too complicated to look up. It's like if the X equals Y off the X-axis. So let's see here.
Circle back around. Look at the guy Hank and Poncho. He'll tell you what the number is.
Okay, they have $48 million. Is as of when is this written here? This was come on, Bleacher Report. Give me a date. Oh, this is February. This is no longer any good.
I mean, since February, what have they really done? Not that I really follow them, but they got Jimmy G, right?
Okay, here we go. Here's Pro Football Focus. Let's see. This is. They don't got much at all. They got a couple $1 million. But here's the thing with that, though. Keep in mind, if somebody wants to correct me if I'm wrong in this, by all means, feel free, because there's a lot of weird ins and outs of the cap. But my understanding is because that contract offer is out there, it's already sitting against the cap for the $10.1 million.
I would assume so, because it's out there. So you could turn around and say, hey, because if they got, say, $5 million and they want to offer...
You're breaking up there, Rob.
I assume so. That's how it works. Because they put the offer out, they have to suck up that, $10.1 million?
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. So
but if they turn around...
Pieces where that's already...
They turn around...
Cap.
Yeah, but if they turn around and have... They turn around and they have $6 million on the cap. They could offer him in his first year, $10 million, and just wind up being a $30 million guaranteed after 4 years. And Barkley could turn around and look for the same thing. Meanwhile, he could still be getting paid. I don't know 42, 45, probably 50.
Yeah, so I'm looking at their cap space they have is $2.5 million what they have. So if they have the $10 million at their point already in there for him, you figure they can sign to a $13 million deal and still be okay if that's an average, because you're only paying the $10 million this year, you're paying 15 the next one, whatever the case may be. And
if they're smart, they'll cut it down to 9, 8.5, and then kick the can down.
See what could it be, because one of these two are going to sign, and when they do. Yeah, when one of these two do, like I said, that's going to be, to me, that's going to be what we end up doing, as looking at whichever one first. Okay, well, now Saquon got this, so Josh Jacobs will get this, or Josh Jacobs got this, so Saquon's going to get this now. I mean, it's going to be just exactly like that. Because, like I said, if you look at their numbers, so you got 4 years now, for Josh Jacobs. In those 4 years, he's got 4,040 yards rushing. He's got his receiving number probably much worse than Saquon's. He got 1152 in receiving yards. So, not too much different. I mean, Saquon's got 42-49 for rushing yards. So he's got more rushing yards, even with the one last year. Obviously, Saquon basically lost the year as it is in 2020 at 2 games. But, Saquon's got 1,820 receiving yards. So they're very similar in total yards. And they're very similar in games played even, too, if you want to look at it that way. They both have 60 games, actually. They're both dead on, the same number.
There you go.
So, yeah, I mean, you got some very similar production between these two. Obviously, one had just came off a great year, so he's got a little more of a, hey, you should pay me because I just did, more rushing yards than anybody else in the NFL. But I think you'll
300
see
yards in that one game.
Oh, the guy was a freaking beast last year. It's such a shame they wasted such a good year of his.
Yeah,
they really did. They really did. So like I said, we'll have to see. Now, the rumor is the big issue between the Giants and Barkley was the guaranteed money. I mean, there's been all kinds of rumors of him getting offered $13 million a year contracts, $13.5 million contracts, but no one ever talks about guarantee.
It's between the guarantee and the length of the contract as well.
Listen,
because if he wants it is. Because if he wants, listen, that one extra year goes a long way.
Yes, every inch matters.
I said year.
That's what I was saying.
Yeah. Well, no, every inch counts because every further down the line he goes, the more money he can get.
Further and further in.
Yeah. Listen, you can't get a yard without the inches.
So, when you look at the issue of guarantee, from everything you hear, basically, obviously they're going to guarantee him this year, and they weren't really guaranteeing him much beyond that, is the rumor that we're hearing, at least. Again, we're not involved in negotiations. Everything is being leaked by somebody at this point, so who knows what's legit and what's not. There's only 3 running backs in the entire league right now that are on contracts that have more than $21 million in guarantees. And the reason I use that number is because if you look at Saquon's deal, he's got $10 million guaranteed to him this year, no matter what, either way. That number's not going to go down, probably.
And the next year, if he gets tagged, it's another 12-2, 12-4.
So you figure right there, that's $22 million.
Yeah, 22.5 closer.
Yeah. So to me, that's what the deal should be the framework of, is do a third year at like $15 million and have that not be guaranteed and call it a day. I don't know if that's what they've offered him. I don't know if that's what he's turned down. Obviously, these are all things we don't know. We can just play conjecture at this point. But like I said, only 3 in the entire league right now have guaranteed money like the rumor is he's asking for. That's Christian McCaffrey, who had $30.1 million guaranteed. We all know what happened to him. He got traded away because the Panthers were tired of paying for him. And everybody talking about, he's doing great with the Niners. The Niners love to have him. The Niners aren't paying him, guys. If you look at his over-the-cap numbers, the Niners haven't really been paying him at all. Like, his numbers are ridiculously low on this contract right now. And they're going to have to start paying him soon. And I'm telling you, you're going to find out exactly how much they love him real soon. When it comes down
before they kick that rock to the curb.
Yeah. When it comes down to it, they got to pay him. That's going to be an issue overall. I'm telling you right now, because he's also got void deals and stuff like that. They got to pay him. So his cap number this season is $3.4 million.
That's sounds a lot like 16.
Because the signing bonus, keep in mind. Yeah. So his signing bonus got paid by the Panthers. On top of that, there's deferred money. They've done. They got void deals on this as well. So again, this is not a contract where they've been paying him anything yet. Now, next year, he gets $14 million. They could cut him and save a little over like $5.5 million. So, like I said, I know everyone wants to use McCaffrey as the example of you should pay a running back. Look, it's working out for San Francisco. San Francisco hasn't paid him anything.
Not yet.
They haven't paid him a damn thing. His big years, money wise, are
coming. Listen, I'll take that $3.5 million. Don't say you didn't make anything. Yeah. I'll take that.
I'm just saying, like, you know, it's not like you're paying $20 million a year like people are acting like. Then you got Derrick Henry, who's got $25.5 million guarantee on his contract. You know, and Derrick Henry is a guy that we've been talking about all off season. Will they keep him? Will they not keep him? Because I'm telling you right now, if I am the Titans, I would trade him away in a heartbeat. Because this team is in full rebuild. And you don't rebuild with a running back who's 29 years old. You just don't.
And it's costing you boatloads of money. It's not a rebuild.
Well, so his cap number this year is $9 million. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm in the wrong year. His cap number this year is $16 million.
I was about to say.
Yeah, he's costing a ton for them. Now, this is the last year of his contract that he has. And then he has 2 more void years on this deal. So they're paying him 5.4 and 4.7 the next 2 years on voids to go ahead and get that cap number down. This is why I'm saying you don't sign mega deals for running backs.
Not anymore. Not the same. It's not the new NFL.
Now, the other guy who has got that kind of guarantee hasn't even played a snap in the NFL yet. It's Bijan Robinson, because the Falcons, like morons, drafted him so freaking high. So he's got $21 million guaranteed because that's set because of where he was drafted. It wasn't like the Falcons were like, oh yeah, we need to pay this guy. That's set. I guess they kind of did say, yeah, we got to pay this guy because they drafted him.
They knew the terms of the deal drafting where they drafted.
Yeah. But like I said, it's one of those deals where I think Saquon may be asking for more than what is typical. And I don't blame the guy for it. Don't get me wrong. Dude, go get every freaking penny you can, because if I was you, I'd be doing the same damn thing.
And Drew, like, give it a sales too. Like, you know the deal. And these, like his agents are way more knowledgeable in sales transactions than we are. Deal with way more money that you're going to ask him. All right, when was the last time you $1 million?
Last week.
Yeah, all right. But, I mean, does it sound that odd to ask for an extra $2 million over asking price when you're talking multi-millions? No. Because if you come down, you know, if Giants come down, try to go down $4 million, then you come up back $2 million, that's where you want to be. That's where you did the right thing.
Here's my thing. When Daniel Jones had his rumors about asking for, you know, I mean, even just today it was announced he was asking $47 million a year for some reason. People are trying to drum this up again. But what did you and I say?
The dead horse.
But what did you and I say during that times? He's just doing what he can to get as much money as possible, and you can't blame the guy. So what freaking a-holes would we be if we didn't have the same exact reaction with Saquon?
Yeah, and arguably, majority of the Giants fans will say that Barkley needs to get his deal done, and he needs a good contract.
I think it's 50-50. I really do, and that's the scary part, because I think people they're scared to pay a running back. They're scared to pay this running back specifically because he's got the injury issues. It's not like this guy's been healthy and they're like, oh, well, don't pay him. They break down eventually. Like, he already has broken down to a degree, you know?
All right. I'm not talking about
last year, which was an amazing year for him still. It still wasn't as good as his rookie year before the injuries happened.
No, I mean, you can say the same thing about Daniel Jones, but to the basic, like, football fan that doesn't dive down into every analytical aspect of it, they're going to say Barkley was the best player, that you need to pay this guy. But they're not going to break down, oh, well, you know what? It's only his second best year, which you say the same thing with DJ, but you also look at it
that
like,
was his best year. That was his best year.
Like, who's the star of the team last year? Like, DJ was right there, but so was Barkley.
You could star search and find out.
Well, both will be on Dances with the Stars next year.
I mean, to me, if you can do like a 3-year, $37 million that kind of thing, guarantee him the money of these 2 years of tags and call it a day. But
what if he wants 5 years, 3 years guaranteed? Like, then
listen, honestly, if he wants 5 years, 2 guaranteed, I would do that. because I don't care at that point. But I'm not going to give the guy more than 2 years guaranteed if I'm the Giants. And
well, that's what I'm saying. What if he's fighting for 3?
He's been the face of the franchise basically since Eli retired. Let's call it what it is.
Pretty much.
He's been the face of the franchise. He has been an absolute professional. Even during this, he's been an absolute professional. He is the nicest guy in the world by all accounts. He has been a guy who's taken a lot of the younger players and new teammates, taken on the Giant way. I mean, like I said, I want this guy paid because of who he is. I just don't want it to be where we end up like the Cowboys in a couple of years, where we're cutting players because we paid Zeke.
Yeah,
and you can, like I said, you can make the case that if you watch the film from last year, there are plays he didn't make. That, granted, 99% of the players in the NFL couldn't make these plays, but there are plays he did not make last year that you could have sat there and wondered, would rookie Barkley have gotten that move? Would rookie Barkley have missed that? Have missed that hole? Would rookie Barkley have been taken down like that? You can ask that. It's a legit question. So if you have a guy that you think has slowed down even just a little bit from injury, let's say he's 95% of the player he was, and that's still a 5% less. Still a damn good player, and that's not a huge drop off. But you can sit there and say, what happens next injury? What happens with 1 or 2 more years of getting hit like that?
And that's when you go, hey, you're 95 of what you were, and you're older. Guess what? That's 10% less what you want.
Yeah. And like I said, it's a shame because if he played, like you said, if he played 25 years ago, 30 years ago, this guy would be probably one of the highest paid players in all the NFL. Granted, it'd still be half of what they were offering him now because that's...
Yeah. Well, let's not get into the whole inflation and politics of everything.
No, it's not even inflation and politics. That's just new TV deals and everything. I mean, like, I remember playing Madden, so I never played Madden until... I want to say it was, Madden 99 it was, because it was Peyton Manning's rookie year, which I was on the PS1. And that year, I remember, for those who don't do, I know some people do this, some people don't. I love just picking random teams and trying to build the teams. I haven't played the actual football games, just build up the teams and sim through the season, go to the next off season and build up and see what you can do. I used to enjoy, and one of the things you would do is you pick random teams. And I remember whenever I got picked the Bucks, I used to go like this and just hit the button, and whichever one I stopped at, that's the one I would try to build. And whenever I got the Bucks, I'm like, oh, Warren Sapp's making $6 million. I can't keep that money.
Yeah, goodbye.
Would be paid over $20 million right now if he was a current NFL player. Maybe he wouldn't have gone bankrupt. Ooh. Shots fired. He's a jerk. It's okay. But I'm saying it just tells you how much things have changed. He's still making more than he would have back then. But like I said, I think one of 2 things is going to happen here. One of 3 things, I should say. Barkley's going to cave, the Giants are going to cave, or they're both not going to cave, and he signs the 1-year franchise.
It's going to be a standoff.
Good old spaghetti westerns.
Good lucky punk. Oh, that's Dirty Harry. Never mind.
That was.
That was a San Francisco western.
And Deb asked a very good question here. She says, how much of Barkley's lack of yards were due to a bad offensive line? I think we were the 14th in run blocking. It's a valid question, but I would say this. If you put the 2022 offensive line against what was his rookie year, 2019?
Yeah.
Then
I
think it might have been 18 actually.
Yeah.
Who do you think would have been the better offensive line?
I think this was the better offensive line. But the thing is, if you had Bellinger healthy all year, how much better could have Barkley got yards wise if he wasn't? Because look at the sacrifice and the yards that he had.
We also had the issue of, beyond just him, it was we also had Evan Neal being out at that same exact time period. So yeah. I'm gonna give you the starting line here for the New York Football Giants that year. Okay, you had Nate Solder. I think we can agree that Andrew Thomas is a better player than Nate Solder, right? We have to discuss this at all, right?
Yeah. You're right. Had to check my notes.
You muted yourself.
I had to check my notes.
I got scared there, and I'm like, sorry, we can't do this show anymore. Left guard, Will Hernandez. Now you can make the case because Will Hernandez had a good rookie campaign that Will Hernandez was better his rookie year than Ben Bredesen or Josh Azudu. You can make that case. So we got 1-1.
Those guys were, because they were retaining door of who was getting hurt.
Yeah. You got
Spencer
Pulley at center. I think we can all agree he was crap, right? And as much as I dislike Feliciano, he was better.
Yeah, I mean, how long was Pulley a Giant for?
Not very long, for good reasons. Right guard, Jamon Brown.
Jump on it. Come on.
I think Lewinsky wins.
Yeah.
Right tackle, Chad Wheeler. Evan Neal struggled, but
he was in Chad Wheeler.
Chad Wheeler. So you got 4 out of the 5 positions were better on the offensive line last year over his rookie year. That's what I'm saying. And don't get me wrong.
We had Ingram as our tight end then too, as well, right? Yeah.
Yes, Ingram would have been.
So how much was he blocking?
Well, along with that's why, because I knew you were about to say the other tight end was Rhett Ellison, who was a very good blocking tight end. So I have to include.
He was, but you do, but he also wasn't that good of a receiver tight end. So when you put in like a Bellinger who could do both, not as well as one or the other, but it also puts a little miscorrect as the wrong play.
As Deb Ellis says, point made. Wow. And I think we forget that we're talking about this, that was part of what made that rookie season so special for him is you look at that team and you go, okay, yeah, the very tail end of Eli. So Eli was still Eli. He still threw for 4,300 yards that season. But he wasn't Eli old because he was just getting beat up a lot. You had Beckham. You had Shep.
That line.
You had Evan Ingram. We talked about him. Underrated, I think, from what he did still as a Giant. I think, unfortunately, he became a scapegoat of some issues because he made some bad drops at key times. But we could
give Slayton, we could give Ingram.
But we had some quality offensive weapons overall. But we had like a horrendous line. And unfortunately, we had that line, and it got Eli killed multiple times. It probably didn't help.
The reason why he retired.
But in the end, Barkley still was a beast with that crappy offensive line. So if we were 14th, Deb, I'm going to take you at your word on the 14th because I don't have that number in front of me. If we were 14th, that's a huge upgrade from where we were back in 2018.
We're probably like 28th. But
I was thinking like 29, 30. So
But if you want to play devil's advocate, no one knew who Barkley was. He was a rookie. And you got these offensive weapons.
I would disagree with that, though. He was still the second overall pick. Everybody expected him to be big.
Just saying, devil's advocate. You got the 2-time quarterback champion over there, MVP, throwing the ball. You got, weapons that you could throw to. And you got this rookie that second overall pick, but you don't know what you really got in the NFL with him. What, as a defensive coach, what do you think is going to happen more than not? Probably the pass. Granted, the offensive line was terrible. They had 1.1 and 1.2 seconds to throw that ball, but just putting that out there too.
So, according to Big Blue View, I'm looking at it. Deb is correct. 14th in run blocking grade. So, yeah, that's not too bad last year. I mean, that's still it's weird to say that's above average. Right?
Barely, but
it's still above average.
If you put the medium at 16, you're right, but or you could just say it's average because it's right there.
So let's see. Yeah. In 2018, the offensive line was ranked 18th overall. Chad Wheeler was ranked by PFF as the worst run blocking lineman in the entire NFL. Yeah. Yeah. I think it's safe to say that they probably were, a little bit better. But they didn't give a run blocking grade specifically. but they said 18th overall. And again, they had the worst run blocking right tackle in all of football. So yeah, like I said, I think we need to remember how great that rookie year was. But at the same point, you can sit there and say, has he potentially lost a little bit because of the injuries? He had some major injuries, and I think it's a valid point. And you have to wonder, if you sign him to a long-term deal, if he get hurt one more time, is that now, is he 90% instead of 95%? At what point does the rest of the NFL catch up to him?
It could be one more injury, it could be two, it could be three, but
do we hear four? Do we hear four? Four, five.
Do we hear four injuries? But you know, the Merritt family is not in the business to gamble. They're in the business to win football games. If they want to gamble, they're not that far from Atlantic City.
Yes.
And they also probably could afford a very nice flight to Vegas. So why would you want to gamble with something like that?
And as always, what do I always say? Even if we get spammed during the show, I put it up on the screen. If you want to promote your podcast, I am a professional podcast promoter. I will subscribe to your organic download rating and lead to your next project. If you would like to promote your podcast, please inbox me. Thanks. Yeah, that doesn't seem like a spam one right there.
Thanks, Henry.
But yeah, like I said, I think the big thing for us is get it done, whatever to get done. And if we're talking about $1 million a year, I'm going to side with the player in this case and say, get it done, make the guy happy. I don't know what the difference is. And that's part of the problem we really run into is because this has been a very cordial yet public disagreement. And what I mean by that is Barkley's not going out there saying, they only guaranteed me $15 million. They should have guaranteed me $25 million. Like, that's not the way this is being played out. This is being played out more along the lines of, they're just not paying me enough. I don't like some of the numbers.
It's not even that pay me enough. The deal's not working out.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I'm saying.
It's like we don't know.
Almost frustrating. It's almost frustrating because I don't even know whose side to take. I want to take a side, damn it.
Yeah, is it the money? Is it the overall money? Is it the guaranteed money? Is it the length of the contract? Is it accumulation of all that stuff? We just don't know.
Yeah, and part of it is like people are like,
he doesn't like the bonus structure of it.
Yeah. And part of this, there are people like, he should have taken this mid-year deal he was made. Again, you just mentioned a keyword there, bonus structure, stuff like that. So the rumor was $13.5 million, but how much of that was based on bonuses? How much was guaranteed? All this stuff that we don't know.
Do we know if they offer him $13.5 million for the next year, which is good in the lump sum. But if they turn around and say you got $6 million guaranteed, you're going to have $4 million signing bonus, or $2 million signing bonus, and then guess what? The rest of that $5.5 million you want to make, that's all bonuses. So
yeah, and like what if part of it is like you got to like lead the NFL in rushing to get $1 million, you got to like lead the NFL downs to get $1 million. It's like,
but you don't know what it is too. It could be like, hey, 1,000 yards, $1 million.
Yeah. So now, what struck up this whole conversation, though, we got to give this part of it here. Is Jeremy Fowler was on SportsCenter, and he gave some notes on it. People are looking for the update. He said, I just checked in on this, and I was told there's no hard and fast update right now. But there's at least some level of optimism that these sides can come to an agreement at some point. They've been talking throughout the offseason. Giants ownership values Barkley. He's considered a centerpiece type player for them. But Barkley wants a stronger contract structure, most likely stronger guarantees in how that contract is structured. So Giants have to find a sweet spot there. So that's basically confirming what we've been saying all along. As you might see on the screen here, there's a fly running around this room. It's like going across my face and all.
Why is he running? Why isn't he flying? Why isn't the fly flying? Why is the fly running?
What I mean.
Silly talk.
Is that you, Jeff Goldblum? That was a good movie. The original was pretty good too. But yeah, like I said, I think it all boils down to how far apart are they? And if they're close, guys, just get it done. Pay the man.
Yeah, if we're talking like you said, $1 million. That's what I say, $500,000.
Even
you offer him 13, he wants 13.5. Like, just give it to him.
$1 million or $2 is not going to make or break the New York Giants. And I don't say that for every single player. Let me be very clear on that, because I know someone's going to sit there
I was going to say,
saying like, "Oh, if we did that for everybody, we'd have no cap space whatsoever." Who are you, Dave Gettleman? No, this is your centerpiece player, as Fowler was talking about there. This is your franchise face here.
For the past 5 years.
That's the type of guy you do it for. You do it for a guy like him. And don't tell me they didn't pull that same damn move with Jones. Don't tell me they went into this season saying, you know what I want to do? I want to pay Daniel Jones $40 million a year. No way in freaking hell.
No. Listen, he's not your Sterling Shepard. Sterling Shepard's a great player, great face for the Giants. He still got like a lot more gas in the tank. He's not going to take a pay cut to stay at Giant when he get paid way more somewhere else compared to Shepard, who kind of knows his value and goes, I'll take $500,000 or $1 million less to stay with his team.
Part of me really wishes that the Giants had given him the tag that gave him the ability to go look elsewhere, like they did, like the Ravens did with Lamar Jackson. Because I think if he was able to see, more, I think he would have kind of realized where the actual market is for running backs. Because keep in mind, the largest running back contract out there was Miles Sanders with the Panthers. That's the largest one out there. That was 4 years, $25.4 million.
Which is not
that's $6 million a year. 6.1 technically. Yeah. Actually, am I wrong here? Hold on, 6. Yep. I was a little bit off there. 6.35 per year. That's still nothing.
Yeah, it's like, really, from what the rumors have said, that's half.
So Barkley wants 13 million. I mean, would you say that Miles Sanders is half the player that Saquon Barkley is?
No.
I mean, you can't. And don't get me wrong, Miles Sanders had a lot more talent around him that definitely helped him out.
What do you have, like 1,000 yards?
No, he had more than that, dude. He had
12?
He had a good year. He had 1,269 yards.
Hey-oh.
So he's not the pass, catcher that Barkley can be. That Barkley really hasn't been since his rookie year. I should say that as well. But he doesn't have that with him. But I mean,
of course, he's Barkley like that for the first half of the year. I mean,
like I said, it's just it's a predicament there that unfortunately there's no easy answer, because the Giants have to protect themselves, and Saquon has to look out for numero uno, and you can't blame the guy for that.
Yeah. Both parties are trying to protect themselves.
I don't go to negotiation with my boss saying, I think I'm probably worth this, but I'm going to take this because I just love working here so much. Like, that's not the way this works.
No.
You start up here because they're going to start down here, and you hope that somewhere in the middle you guys can make it work. Giving my boss my trade secrets if he watches the show.
Yeah.
If he's watching the show, I deserve a raise again.
So, hey, boss, it started here. He's going up here. Go way down here.
Yeah. They'll get close to where you want to be then. No, I mean, listen, same as with all of our jobs. We know our value. We know what people pay for what we do as individuals there outside of this kind of thing. Barkley knows what his value is. He's a top flight running back. He knows what top flight running backs are making per year. I mean, the franchise tag is a good idea of where that is, because that's based on averaging out the top ones. So
yeah,
he's going to look for a little more than that per year. So again, can't blame the guy. I hope he gets his money. I hope he gets the money, doesn't hurt us long term. It's a fair statement said overall. And somewhere in the middle, I more and more I think about it, the more and more I think they will figure something out. And I think it's just, if anything, to save face. I don't even think it's a matter of anything's changed besides the fact that they both just seem to want to get it done. They just both want to get it done their way, of course.
Yeah, that's an obvious statement.
Yeah. So, we'll see what happens, guys. We'll keep you up to date and everything as things go down. But Yeah, so we'll be back on again, of course, tomorrow night. You got the Thursday night special. Thursday night goofball. Dun, 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 dun.
Dun, 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 dun.
So we're going to be talking about Darren Waller tomorrow there and kind of what the expectations are. For those who are unaware, Darren Waller was removed from the NFL.com's Superstar Club. They're claiming he's not a superstar. So it's a valid question.
Obviously, the NFL has not listened to any of the Giants' press conferences.
Yeah, apparently not. All they talk about is Darren Waller.
How spectacular he is. I mean,
it's almost like our offseason is going to be a success or failure based on Darren Waller, the way they make it sound, which, I mean, you can make the case. But like I said, we're going to go over as far as that part of it there. Is he still a superstar? What's the expectations? What do we think he's going to do for the Giants overall? Can he finally be healthy? Does he fit the offense well? Because that's something that people don't talk about always. Sometimes you get a superstar player, doesn't mean he fits the offense. Same as why we said we didn't want DeAndre Hopkins, because he's a superstar. He doesn't fit the offense, guys. So you got to have a fit. So we're going to go over all that stuff there for you guys tomorrow night. So in the meantime, Giant fans, have a good evening. Thank you again for listening in or watching, whichever one you're doing. Who knows which one you are. But if you're watching, of course, you're either watching it on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, or my LinkedIn profile.
Fantastic view.
Rob's favorite version of it.
I'm watching it right now.
Yeah, oh, I saw the viewership drop. You turn it off. And then, of course, obviously, we're available on afterwards those platforms as well. We're, of course, also available on all the different podcast platforms if you prefer audio on your ride to or from work as well. Apple, Spotify, Amazon, iHeartRadio. We're pretty much everywhere. So like I said, if you haven't already, hit that like, hit that subscribe, hit that bell on YouTube. That's where you find out whenever we go live. Literally, when we go live, I get like 3 notifications on my phone.
Yeah.
As if I didn't know we're going live.
I'm a co-host here, and I see everywhere that we're live.
I had no clue.
Yeah.
And of course, guys, we also have, of course, our sponsorship program there. buymeacoffee.com/2giantgoofballs. Again, it's buymeacupofcoffee.com/2giantgoofballs. We have both options for one-time sponsorships there. It starts at $3, or you can do the monthly subscriptions, which start at just $5 a month there as well. All right, guys. So we will see you again tomorrow night, talking Darren Waller, talking about the fit, how he is a superstar, giving kind of the rundown of his prior achievements there in the NFL as well. So we will see you then. Hit that subscribe, hit that like, hit that bell. That's when you know that we're going live again. And appreciate everybody listening in today. And as always, Giant fans,
Go G-Man!
Go G-Man!
Thanks for listening to Two Giant Goofballs, a New York Giants podcast. We appreciate your support. If you made it this long, you must have enjoyed it. So I am sure you have followed us on all the social media platforms. Of course, you have subscribed to the show on your favorite app as well and given us a top rating. Right? Right? Right?